Hello and welcome to Everybody Has a Story with Jeff Seltzer. I am your host, Jeff Seltzer. Once again, if you are returning and listening to us for the third, fourth, fifth, 17th time, really excited, really proud, and really thankful that you've come to join us again. If you're new to the pod, thank you so much for giving it a shot, checking it out. We have a bunch of episodes in the past that are, in my opinion, I might be a little biased, but really good. Lots of different diverse backgrounds, interests, and such. We've got Disney World, we've got professional wrestling, we've got flying an airplane, all sorts of topics. So whatever you're looking for, whatever intrigues you, we probably got something about it. If there is a topic you'd like to chat about or hear about, you can check me out on Instagram at Everybody Has a Story Pod. My DMs are open. Send me a note, comment on this show, tell me what you think. Give me information if you want to be a guest. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to talk to other people in the future, hear their stories, share my stories, things like that. Additionally, we are on YouTube at Everybody Has a Story Pod. My personal Instagram is at Seltzer77. You can reach the show directly via email at everybodyhasastorypod@gmail.com if you want to sponsor the show. If you want to talk about our Duffies in the background there, you want to talk about the ECW wrestling poster right above my head as well. Whatever it is, send me an email. Let's talk about it. For all things Jeff Seltzer, you can check me out at jeffseltzer.com. As always, we are on all podcast platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora. We've picked up a lot of platforms since show one, so I'm really excited and just keeping the excitement going and such. Do want to quickly shout out to Joey Silver and his episode that we had last week. Got a lot of great feedback about it. Professional wrestler Joey Silver. It was a lot of fun talking to him. Like I said in the podcast last week, I've met him a couple of times. I've talked to him quite a bit over the last year and a half. Great guy, fun story. Just really a fun conversation. So if you missed that one, please go back and listen to it. He was one of my favorite guests. And I do promise we'll have less wrestling going forward. I know we've had a few of them. We had this one. We had Zach Linder. We had my two buddies with our trip to Philly. But we'll try to do a little less wrestling going forward. But getting back to my favorite guest, speaking of which, I do want to introduce to the podcast one of my favorite guests. You may remember her from episode 2 as we talked about Disney World. Welcome back to the show, Megan Fernandez. Megan, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. So usually this is the part where I would say, hey, why don't you tell us a little about yourself? But you've already given your full bio about 3 months ago at this point. So we can kind of, bypass the pleasantries on that.
Perfect.
I did want to mention, though, the show, obviously, you were, my second guest, which was pretty insane for me, right? And the fact that I was probably about 2 weeks out of Japan. I was still kind of jet lagged. Kind of get this thing going. We're probably on a couple of podcast platforms. We've definitely done a lot since then. But what I'll say is this, 15 weeks and you are the #1 streamed episode of the show.
Oh yes. My gosh. It's probably all my siblings and nieces and nephews.
Well, you know what? I should have you on every week if that's the case, because I can use all the streams on the listen. So again, I don't know if it's Megan Fernandez. I don't know if it's talking about Disney World, but whatever it was, definitely a lot of interest there. So Megan, first of all, thank you and welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I have so much fun listening every week. Like, I look forward to it. When my parents crash my walk and I have to talk to them and not listen, I'm like, oh, all right, guys, I'll listen tomorrow, I guess.
Awesome. Well, again, I am very happy that you're back. I know we talked about this probably a few months ago, right before I went to Disney World, and was like, hey, you went in August, I went in September, we should chat about it. So again, really excited to talk about it. So for those of you who have not seen the show notes or the topic for the show, we're going to talk once again about Disney, but this time the specific topic will be about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. So real quick history for you out there who aren't fully aware of what it is. So Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a separate ticketed event at Disney World in Florida, in Orlando, where after hours, a few nights a week between, I was going to say September, October, but now it's kind of like early August to almost November at this point.
I went to the first party on August 9th.
Crazy, right? It's an extra ticket. Very crazy. It's an extra ticketed event, but it basically turns Disney World or Magic Kingdom into one big just Halloween party. So the rides are open. Rides are same as usual. A couple of them might have special overlays. The characters come out in costumes. So while you might usually get a picture with Winnie the Pooh has like a special Halloween costume on. Different characters do. Again, some of the rides have overlays, so they're a little bit different than usual. They have special parades. They have all sorts of just really cool stuff. This started back in 1995. I did my history here. So 1995 it started. My guess is it was to compete with Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, which I did an episode about a few weeks ago, right across town in Orlando, which I believe started back in like 91 or so, where, again, the contrast is Universal Studios. It's very scary, more adult-themed, more adult-oriented, versus the Disney World Not So Scary Halloween. It's just that. It's not so scary. It's very kid-oriented. Kids can go trick-or-treating and stuff like that. So getting back to the topic from here, so they've been doing it since 1995, with the exception, I believe, of 2020. Back in July, when Megan was on the show last, we had talked about she was going to Disney World in July, August, and I was going in September. And part of what she was going for was to go see Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween when she was there with her family. Do you want to talk about some of your experiences, some of your favorite things, kind of like, how did you like it?
Sure. So it was our third time going. So we kind of knew what we were walking into. But I think the first time we went, I think I was pregnant with my third, and I had no idea. Like, I didn't grab a map with all of the special treats that you could get, I had no idea about the trick or treating. So I feel like I went in really prepared this time, and I had older kids. So it's really cool. You get a wristband when you go in, and it's not just like your typical plastic wristband that's like itchy. It was this nice like cloth one. And they bring you in on Main Street, and then they bring you through like a detour, and you kind of go behind the scenes a little bit, and they had characters and a DJ, and I just love the vibe. Like, I could just go there, not go on a single ride, just listen to the music, look at all the cool like merchandise, and it's just such a vibe. Even the music they play throughout the park over the loudspeakers, it's so loud, which normally it's kind of like nice background music when you're just there on a normal day. They are like blasting. They were really heavy on Descendants. And I mean, I heard the Halloween theme playing that was a little more than Not So Scary. But yeah, like, once the party officially begins at 7, they dim the lights. It's just such a cool vibe. It's very different. It's worth the extra price on top of, a ticket. If you were already there and you had a ticket, whatever, it's worth that extra ticket price, in my opinion, just because it's so different from any other time in the Magic Kingdom.
I completely agree. I think this is my 4th or 5th time going. I took my buddy John, who was on the Halloween Horror Nights episode. It was his first time going. He really enjoyed it a lot too. For those of you that aren't aware at home, so again, as I said, it is a separate ticket. So if you have a ticket for the day, park closes, you have to leave, and this ticket gets you in for later. There is overlap though. So while the party doesn't start till like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, the Not So Scary Halloween ticket will get you in at 4 o'clock. So if you're planning on going to Not So Scary Halloween, you might want to do something else during the day and then not have to pay for a Magic Kingdom ticket for the day, because then you can get in at 4 o'clock, do a lot of things. The park's not usually as crowded during the party as well. So if you just want to do rides, you can do that, which is pretty great. Tickets, I do believe off the top of my head, were probably about $130 per person, give or take. Keep me honest on that. I did get the DVC or annual pass discount, so it might have been a little cheaper, more money than that. But it's roughly about that per person. So obviously plan ahead for that. But again, like, for me, like, I love the Halloween season. I love both the spooky stuff at Universal and the fun stuff over at Not So Scary Halloween. So, I mean, the pumpkins there's lots of really great photo ops. When you first walk, right before you get down Main Street, there's the spot where during Christmas time, they have the tree. So during Halloween time, they have like pumpkins and all sorts of stuff. So you can get a really cool picture with the castle in the background and pumpkins around you. So there's lots of just really cool, just different things that you can get there that you wouldn't get other times of the year. So like I said, I've been there a few times for this. Every time I've had a different experience. The first time that I went to Not So Scary Halloween years ago, it basically got rained out. So obviously the bummer about Not So Scary Halloween is you have to buy the ticket ahead of time, and it's for a specific date. So rain or shine, it's there, and it was like torrential downpour. A lot of the character meets, which at the time is what I was going for, will possibly not happen based on the rain. So as mentioned before, some of the characters and some of the costumes you get are pictures you can't usually get. So one thing I was going for years ago was a picture with the Seven Dwarfs, which is impossible to get because you never get that. And I was waiting in line, and it was a downpour. They never came out. I eventually left and was kind of disappointed. Got the picture a year later, but it was, it was definitely something really cool. And a picture I love is the picture of me just hanging out with the Seven Dwarfs, where usually you don't get the kind of picture. So Megan, for you and your family, the last few times that you've gone, have you gotten any of the special random pictures? Like, what do you generally go for, or like what excites you guys the most about the party?
Sure. So the first time we went was 2011. And again, didn't really know what we were doing. My kids were much younger. Then we went in 2022, and my oldest was like 17. So he ditched us during the parade. He was like, I'm going on all the rides. And he got the 3 mountains, like Splash,
Nice.
Space, and Big Thunder. He got them
Yes.
done. So that was like really ride focused. We wanted to just hit everything. And again, we were just like enjoying having older kids for once. My brother was there with us. He had like an infant and a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. We're like, oh, see you later. And yes, this time around, I was really into the entertainment. I wanted to see the Cadaver Dans, which if you've been there before, you've seen the Dapper Dans on Main Street, but during the parties, they make them look like zombies, and they call them the Cadaver Dans. And so I really wanted to see that. I saw the Hocus Pocus show, which
Nice.
Hocus Pocus, like that was my prime. I think it came out in like 93. So I was 8 years old and I was all about Hocus Pocus. So I watched that stage show. I was really into the entertainment and like the special offerings. I did go to the Descendants dance party, but my kids were on rides and I felt weird dancing. So I just kept walking, but I did want to check it out. So yeah, this time around, it was way more chill. And I kind of just wanted to take it all in, listen to the music, see all the special offerings that you wouldn't see during the day.
Which is great. I mean, as we discussed last time, like the Disney trips tend to evolve as the kids get older, right? Like when the kids were younger, it was sometimes divide and conquer, or it's kind of like all hands on deck, short day, kids get tired, do things, whatever. As it sounds like you're experiencing, we are as well. Like my daughters who are 17 and 14 now, oftentimes they'll run off to their own thing. Beth and I will do our own thing. And then we meet up at some point, do some rides together, dinner, whatever else like that. So just, it evolves based on what they need, what we need, and kind of just overall ages, which is great, Yeah. What I was going to say is, so for me, I've had different experiences, right? So a couple times ago, it's mostly about the pictures. Usually I go about the pictures. My buddy John, he kept saying he was down for anything, but I kept looking at him and I didn't think he wanted to wait in line like 2 hours for a picture with Winnie the Pooh. So I chose to kind of adjust a little bit. So there were 2 main goals that we had going into the Halloween party. They were to ride Tron at night and to ride Tiana's Splash Mountain at night. Because both of them, so Tron I had ridden before, Tiana I had not, but I figured both of them would look really cool at night. So we did Tron at night, which was really awesome, right? You're indoors, you're outdoors. It's a new ride for those that don't know. Opened, what was it, a year and a half ago or 6 months ago? I don't know, sometime.
April 20. Was it this
23?
past April or was it 20? It was definitely like spring break time.
I think it's 23 then. Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, I definitely, suffer from privilege that I'm so spoiled that I go so often that they all kind of blur together at this point.
I know.
When I read articles about the average person goes like every 3 years or 4 times in a lifetime, and I've gone like 3 times in the last year and a half probably. It is what it is. It's just kind of
exactly.
So we did Tron, which I enjoyed Tron a lot. I like it. For the not so scary Halloween party, the great thing was, they got rid of the virtual queue. So we waited in line quite a while for it. I think they actually got rid of the virtual queue a few days before we went. So it was a bit of a line. It was like 45 minutes, but it was fine. Wrote it. It was awesome. Absolutely loved it. Loved the pictures and the videos they give you from it too. If you have the photo pass or photo, whatever they have there. Then came Tiana. So this was my first time doing Tiana since Splash Mountain. So taking a step back, I did Splash Mountain back in June when I was in Tokyo. And I swore to myself, I was like, this is the last time I'm ever doing Splash Mountain because I know in America, both are switching over to Tiana. So it was cool just to do it one last time to kind of get that memory. Then came here. It was nighttime. I was like, this is perfect. We're going to do this, right? So we get in line. It's for the parties. There was no virtual queue. Usually Tiana has a virtual queue. No virtual queue. We're in line for maybe 5-10 minutes. Flew right through. Like, this is fantastic. I'd heard things from friends who are like, it's not as good as Splash Mountain. It's better than Splash Mountain, blah, blah. So I figured, go into it, create my own opinion. We got into the ride. It feels just like Splash Mountain. Did you ride? Did you ride Tiana?
I did. We got it not at the party. I had gotten the virtual queue for it.
Gotcha. So before I talk about my experience, because my experience was very, let's say, wonky or unique. What did you think of it? Like, did you enjoy the ride?
So I love Splash Mountain. I'll just start with that. Like, that was one of the first rides I remember, like, being like, I'm going to do this, and so it was really special to me. My dad would always go on it with me. So I was not happy, and I love Tiana, but I'm like, give her her own. Don't reimagine something. So I did like it. I thought it was really beautiful. I loved all of the Spanish moss. I loved all the lightning bugs. The critters were cute. So I think it was a really pretty ride.
Yes.
But I think the story was like a little, my kids were like, we're small. Why are we small? You know, like it just, I didn't love the story, but it was a beautiful ride. And the end was fun.
Yeah, so I would completely agree. Like that was basically my view. It was like I love the ride because I mean it's the same track, it's the same basic ride as Splash Mountain, right? Which I totally enjoy. The queue was really cool. There's some cool stuff there. The characters look awesome. I mean, the animatronics, like it's definitely better than it was before. Like visually, everything looks fantastic.
Yes.
Then comes the issue that I had. So we got on the ride. You know, we were in line for like 5 or 10 minutes. It was great. We did the ride. We're probably about I don't know, right after you do the big downhill splash. The ride just stops. It absolutely stops. And we're stuck there for a good 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yes. So as my friend Chelsea would like to say, I got evacuated from Tiana's ride. So legitimately, we sat there and the whole time my buddy's like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. Enjoy it. And I'm like, we have a limited shelf life on this party. Like every minute that we're sitting here not doing anything.
Yes, like, money is time.
Yeah, we are not getting pictures with characters. We are not seeing parades. We're not whatever, right? All this stuff. But he's like, so I took some pictures, whatever. So basically, one by one, they had to go to each of the boats, unlock the boat, and get people out. So we're down there. We're kind of like on the side. Eventually, we start walking around. I mean, the neat thing that my buddy John keeps reminding me is we saw lots of cool backstage stuff. Okay. Right. So like the end of the ride where you're kind of seeing like the grand finale, the climax of it, like we walked right next to all of it. Now, we couldn't take
I've actually been evacuated from when it was Splash, and it was back when you got paper fast passes because I got like any ride you want, paper fast pass. But I know what you're talking about. You see like the costumes.
Yeah, which is really cool.
There. Yeah.
And I'll get back to the fast pass thing in a second also. So we're walking and like I'd love to take pictures of all this stuff or get like a selfie with some of the characters, but like that was a big no-no, right? So we're walking through and there's like 100 people walking like single file because you know you've got like 3 foot of like space before falling into the water. And the last thing they want is liability of somebody falling over and you know, going headfirst into the water. So we walk through it. As we get to the exit, you know, everyone's taking out their magic band because they give us each one free, you know, fast pass or landing lane, whatever. The problem is, and this is kind of my biggest gripe that I have with all this, they're like, okay, you get one lightning lane, except for, right? So then it's like you can use it on any ride except for Tron, except for the Seven Dwarves, except for something else. And I'm like, okay, so basically I can get it for any ride that doesn't have a line. Yeah. Because then they're like, or you can use it for Tiana's. Tiana's didn't open up again that night, so Tiana's was done for the night. So I think I was one of the last people that got to ride down.
You broke it.
That was probably my problem. Like I got to hit the gym. A few too many pounds here is the problem, I think. So I mean, it was fine. What I will say also, and almost like the final laugh on me too, was as we were walking down the hall to get out of the ride, all of a sudden I hear the parade hits. Like you hear the music. Not so scary. Blah blah. Which again, in theory, I love this. The music, the parade is fun. But then you probably know the geography of where Tiana's is. So we walked away from Tiana's. We were just freaking stuck at that point, right? Yeah. So it's a case of at this point, I'm 30 feet back. I can kind of see the parade. You can hear the music, but I can't go anywhere. And basically, after being held hostage for 45 minutes on the ride, we were held captive for another 25 minutes, 30 feet back from the parade. And again, there's nowhere you can go at this point. So basically,
it starts right from there. So you can't you can't cut across because they're all coming. And
that's right. And like we're trying to see how do we cut across to get to either like pirates or something over there, but you can't. And you can't. We can't try to outrun the parade because it's people to people to people. So we were just kind of stuck there. So it was what it was. Again, like we ended up doing Tiana's again the next day, and it was it didn't break down the next day. It was a great ride. Like I enjoyed Tiana's, like I said. To your point before, not much story, but like for me. It's like riding, It's a Small World and waiting for a story. Like there is no story. Yeah. Like for me, I just sit back, enjoy the ride, enjoy what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and kind of go with it. But I was kind of in a little bit of a bummer mood, I guess, after that because we wasted basically an hour or so between when I say wasted on the parade, we didn't really waste it on the parade, but we didn't get the view. Like if I was planning on going to the parade, I would have gotten a better view. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it was what it was. So then we ended up as soon as the parade was over, we shot by. We basically walked out to Pirates, which was fantastic. And then as soon as we got off of Pirates, there was like an hour wait for Pirates because we just beat the parade rush, right? You know how it is, right? Everyone's waiting for the parade. Parade's over. Everybody kind of disperses to the different rides. So that's what it was. I think we did Pirates. We did a few more rides. I think we did We did the People Mover a couple of times, like to your point from before. Love to just get on it, sit on it, just like say, hey, can I stand one more time?
Yep.
Go around. If you luck out, you can watch the fireworks from it sometimes, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it for us. I think we also might have been a little worn out also over, we had done 2 nights straight of Halloween Horror Nights, which was like 30,000 steps per night. I know you and I were messaging while I was there, and or maybe it was afterwards when we did the podcast, and I was like, man, this definitely hits harder when you get older.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? This is fantastic. But again, you mentioned you're born in 85, so you are about a decade younger than I am. So let's maybe reconvene in 10 years and see.
Okay. We'll reevaluate that statement. I literally work out just so that I can keep up in Disney World. Like I never want to not be able to walk around in Disney World and, can huff it with a backpack on, whatever. Like that's my motivation when I ride the Peloton or run or lift weights.
Oh, I'm totally with you. I mean, I think I've mentioned the podcast before. That's mine and Beth's plan is we'll retire, probably a little less than a decade from now, go live in the Orlando area and hit the parks 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, initially probably 3 or 4 times a week. I'm sure when I'm 80 or 85, it'll be maybe once a week, or who knows what it'll look like. But, no. We'll be the old couple in Mexico every Sunday saying we'll get the seltzer table. So we'll see what happens.
Funny, I know we talked about mine and my husband's plan is pretty similar.
Yes.
We took a day. We had 9 days down there, that's pretty long for us. I think I told you we had a week, and then as like the winter blues hit, we just kept adding a night in front. We did take a whole day to drive around neighborhoods that we thought maybe so we made the mistake of going to Celebration first. I don't know if you've ever been to Celebration. It is the most perfect, cute, nostalgic town. Anything we saw after that, I'm like, nope, don't want to. Nope, take me back to Celebration.
That's one of the plans that we've had too. Is like, so initially we were thinking about buying a house down there earlier, and eventually just kind of working remotely. As during COVID, it seemed like we were going to have a lot of long-term, let's say, hybrid flexibility. But as now I'm back in the office 2 or 3 times a week, Beth's in the office once a week, it's going to be a little tougher to pull off. So the idea of moving down there long before we retire is probably not going to happen. But to that point, though, we do plan on at some point in the next couple of years just taking a trip and just kind of like driving around, seeing areas. Celebration is one of them. If we win the lottery, maybe Golden Oak as well. We'll see.
Oh yeah. I can't even get in there to look around, but I know.
Hop a fence, hope for the best.
I know. I watch the house tours on YouTube and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just perfect.
I mean, like being basically on site at Magic Kingdom and Disney World, it just sounds fantastic, right? And it's like I always say, like, why not make retirement one long vacation, right? It just sounds so magical.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, similar to you, whatever, that's our plan, hit the parks, hit Universal, maybe get a SeaWorld, maybe go to Busch Gardens if we're bored for a week or something, just go out there for a couple of days. And as we mentioned on a previous podcast, I know you have it also with Disney Vacation Club, the timeshare down there. People have asked like, oh, so when you move down there, are you going to sell the timeshare? The answer is absolutely not.
Right.
We'll keep it. I mean, spend a long weekend there. If let's say the kids want to hang out there, whatever, just kind of make a thing of it,
I know. I say the same thing. I'm like, we can literally go like every week, once a month for a long weekend. No way would I ever sell that just because I live down there.
Right. No, absolutely. Completely agree with you. Do you have any, so you've gone a few times to Not So Scary Halloween. Do you have any plans, short-term or longer-term, to go back again in the next few years? Or is that something that you've kind of done a few times and you're kind of like, okay, I'm good for now?
I am always game. I wanted to go again like the next week. I was looking at ticket prices. I don't have a Disney World trip planned. We're going to Hilton Head in August, but I've never gone. It's such a champagne problem. I even hate to like complain about it. It really, like my husband is like, you sound like really out of touch.
Right.
But my family's going for November Teachers Week, like my brothers and their kids, and with kids getting older and not being able to miss school, I'm not going, and I'm so sad about it. We have nothing Disney related planned except for Hilton Head, but again, like that's not the parks. I would go all the time. We don't have anything set in stone, but I would absolutely go back. I would do it every year. I want to do the Christmas party. I've been looking for a long weekend that maybe we could do the Christmas party. I'm really obsessed. I just love it. Everyone's in a good mood when we're there. My husband, he has a really demanding, stressful role at work. And
Sure.
when he's in Disney World, it's just so nice to see him happy.
Oh,
Everyone's happy. So that's
nice.
why I love going.
Nice. Yeah. So Beth and I, I'm not going to say the date yet, but Beth and I have already put together, just for the two of us, me and Beth, a very quick
Ooh,
trip down there. So
nice.
Robin got her license, so it gives us a little more flexibility now.
Mhm.
So that may or may not be coming in the very, very near future. We'll see.
Oh,
What else? In April, I don't think I mentioned this on the podcast before. I don't think we talked about this. Both Robin and Allison, through their high school, are going to be performing at Disney World for bands.
yes. So they asked me to go along as the nurse since I'm
And you said no?
I did, because
Ah.
I'm like, I can't go to Disney World with a bunch of other people's children
Sure.
and not my own children. And then I'm going to want to go do things and not
Right.
work. So
Yeah.
I did decline.
Okay.
Yes, but that's amazing.
Yep.
That'll be a fun trip because they'll be busy with friends, and yeah, that'll be a really good one.
Yeah, we're super excited. It's like the best of all worlds. We're basically, they fly down through school. So for anybody listening, for my daughter's high school, their band is having like a whole trip down there. So basically, my older daughter is in color guard for part of the marching band. My younger daughter is in orchestra for violin. So they both get to go down. So there's all sorts of just like skills where they get to learn stuff from a musical perspective. From a band perspective, I think one day they get to march down Magic Kingdom down Main Street, which is just going to be surreal. It's like watching them walk, go down with the band, stuff like that. I believe the orchestra is going to play at Disney Springs, which is going to be pretty cool one day. So basically, they'll be mostly with their school. Beth and I will get some time to ourselves, get some family time, some adult time, some whatever time. So it'll be a lot of fun. Plus, there's some other parents that we're friends with too that we'll probably meet up with, have a drink or something with down there. So really, just really excited to check it out. I mean, this could be a trip where we, to your point from before, go off site and take a look at some houses or just hang out on site. I mean, who knows? But it'll just be really, really great. And then in June, I'm taking Allison down. So long story short, Beth and Robin are going to see Taylor Swift in Toronto next month.
Oh, cool.
So they're taking a mother-daughter trip. So to make sure that Allison doesn't feel left out, makes it the right thing to do, I'm taking Allison to Disney World in June, which coincidentally was just announced today that Epic Universe is opening up about 3 weeks before we go there. So yes. Epic Universe opens like late May. We're going to be there like as soon as school ends. So really excited with new Nintendo World. They have a whole bunch of stuff over there. So Allison's excited. Yeah. I'm psyched.
I went to the preview center.
How was that?
It was cool. Yeah. It was really cool. I mean, it was a huge, like model. It reminded me of Beetlejuice, like when he has the town. And it looked awesome. It looked really cool. My boys, when Adriana turned 13, I took her to Disney for a girls' trip.
Okay.
And our youngest will be turning 13 in May. So my husband is taking him, to be fair, and I sent him the post on Instagram. I'm like, hey, maybe that Disney trip will be a Universal trip. Because I saw that, it's opening in May.
Yeah, we had booked this a while back. And the announcement came out today when it's opening. And I think a lot of the pre-sale or on-sale stuff is next week. So I've got to kind of race as soon as it goes on sale to try to see what I can do. Like as of right now, we're staying on site at Disney World. But might do a split stay now if I can get into one of the Helios, the new Universal Epic Universe hotel. So,
that'd be awesome.
We'll see how that goes. It looks really awesome. So hopefully for that. And then when I go for my usual trip in September, I'll be trying to stay over at Helios to go check out Horror Nights and Epic Universe again. So, yep. So little by little, getting my Florida residency card next year, I guess, with the number of nights I'm spending down in Florida. So we'll see.
Yeah. When you go to look at towns, go to Celebration last. That's all. If you want you like not to have your expectations up here and then just, it was so nice.
Beth's put together a great list. I'm sure we've seen a bunch of videos online or whatever. I mean, Celebration will probably be where it is, just being perfectly honest out there. But yeah, I mean, our idea is live near Disney World, live in like a town that has like something that's walkable to go like a shop or a coffee shop, whatever else like that. But something will be nice. So a place that I can, be comfortable growing old and dying in, I guess, right?
Yeah. Oh, Celebration's it. It was like old. You'll see. Go see it. I can explain it to you, but until you go there, you feel like you're on a movie set.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about with Disney World or Universal, or I have have a fun trivia game to go with after that.
I think that's it. What are you most excited for? Like what land? for Epic Universe. I really like the dark, I think it's
Monsters?
called Dark Universe.
Yeah, Dark
Yeah,
Universe.
the monsters. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
think that just looks so cool.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited about that because with Halloween Horror Nights, Universal oftentimes has like a monster's house. Like they've had like the Bride of Frankenstein, things like that. So I'm really excited about that just traditionally. But I'm also a video game geek at heart. So Nintendo World, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, for years I saw it in Tokyo online. I think it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Beth checked out Nintendo World in Hollywood Universal earlier this year. Looked great, and that's one of the main drives for me. It was like they have, what is it, Donkey Kong Country and Mario Kart, I think, plus some other stuff too. This looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
But just in general, I mean, everything I've read is that this park is bigger than the other two parks. So just kind of the expansiveness of it, how experiential it is, stuff like that. So I'm just really excited to try something new, you know?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, but I'm super excited for that coming soon. So I'm sure, assuming this podcast is still around in 9 months, there'll be a whole episode about Epic Universe. So we'll see.
Awesome.
Very cool. So for those of you listening, I don't like to talk about my day job too much, but what I will say is this podcast is going to drop on Monday, the 21st of October. On Tuesday, the 21st of October, I will be leading a department meeting. Now, I'm not giving any company secrets, whatever else like that, but to try to make my company department meeting fun, I'm going to have a little bit of a trivia game. So what I figured was, for anybody I work with that listens to this podcast and has listened to it before that meeting, you may have the answers and you'll probably have an advantage, which is fantastic, right? Do that, get your prize, whatever else it is like that. And for those of you that haven't listened to it or listening to it now after the meeting, well, I guess, it sucks for you. That's how it goes. But with that said, I wanted to walk Megan through some of these questions and maybe I can kind of fine tune them on the fly as well. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics. And in full transparency, if Megan answers 2 of the 10 questions correct, I'll be very impressed. But we'll see. Again, this is for full disclosure, just getting the answers out there to see if anybody is actually listening to this. So this will be largely like I don't know, like Jeopardy style, I guess. Like I'll kind of like say something and you have to use the 1 word or 2 words or the name or whatever that it's describing. So just work with me on this. All right.
Got it.
The first topic is scary movies. Okay. So the answer is this scary movie asks if you want to play a game and is celebrating its 20th anniversary since initial release back in 2004.
So my first thing, I'm going to say Saw.
You would be correct. Saw is correct.
Right.
Coincidentally, so this will be dropping on Monday. Yesterday, the 20th, I'll be seeing the re-release of Saw for the 20th anniversary with Robin in theaters, as they've re-released it for the 20th and the 23rd of October. So great. You've already gotten 1 out of 1. So at this point, you're well ahead of the pacing I expected. So
I
Megan,
just need more to make you proud.
I think based off of that, the next one might be worded in a way that you might figure it out easily, but let's take a look how that is. So for those keeping score at home or in my office, the answer to scary movies 1 was Saw. Number 2, this Halloween movie features a man in a mask, has had countless sequels, and was remade by Rob Zombie.
Halloween.
That's right. Exactly.
So I got my 2.
You got your 2. I mean, at this point, you're in the bonus at this point, right? So you're doing really, really well. So we'll see how everything else goes. Topic number 2 is scary TV shows. This anthology series on FX Networks is from the creator of Glee and has had seasons about a coven, a cult, and even a reality series of sorts.
American Horror Story.
Holy wow, this is amazing. 3 for 3. Speaking of which, have you seen the new series of American Horror Stories?
I have not. I think the last one I watched was like, I don't know. The premise behind it was like an asylum with the doctor. Okay. Yeah.
So that's American Horror Story, which was the original. They've got a spinoff called American Horror Stories, which are kind of like one-off episodes. So
I probably would like that better.
Yeah. So season 3 just dropped this week. I think the first like 7 or 8 episodes. Definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
It's fun. The next one. This one you're absolutely not going to get. I don't think there's any chance.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. This anthology series has featured a family reunion, a summer camp, and even a season loosely built around Jack the Ripper.
And this is TV shows?
It's TV shows, but this one was made straight for streaming. So
is it on Fear Street? Any of those?
So great guess. It was not that. I do remember
No.
those. That was a fun little trilogy they put out on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So this was originally on, at least in the United States, originally on Netflix, then went to Shudder, which is the horror streaming service. Again, very under the radar. I think, including myself, 7 people subscribe to it. So not a lot of
My kids
popularity
were
out
just
there.
talking about it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, it's fairly inexpensive, and it's like every like B-rated horror movie you've ever seen. So this TV series is called Slasher.
Okay.
Again, didn't expect you to know that one, but I mean, I'm impressed you knew the other one though. That was good.
I'm gonna ask my 19-year-old. He's into all of that, so I'll see if he knows it.
Yeah, Slasher is phenomenal. It's a lot more gory than American Horror Story. And every season they usually have the same actors playing different parts, which is always intriguing.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, the next one, which is going to be very niche, and basically my buddy Daniel will be the only person who knows this one, is Scary Wrestlers. So again, this is probably way outside your interest, though, I'm sure. So if you don't know the answer, just smile afterwards, and I'll skip the answer.
Okay.
This AEW and independent wrestler claims to be very nice and very evil. No. There's a wrestler named Danhausen. So connection to Danhausen is last week's guest Joey Silver wrestled Danhausen back in I think it was March or April or something like that. Danhausen's a fun wrestler. He's an independent wrestler. He's definitely out there. Really awesome merchandise, fun guy. But again, not very mainstream, or for you anyway, so I didn't expect to get him. This former WWE wrestler who would often feed worms to his opponents claims he is coming to get you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to take a guess. Did The Undertaker do that?
So it's a good guess. I'm impressed that you called it The Undertaker. This wrestler was named the Boogeyman.
Oh.
So he would come to the ring. He'd break a clock over his head. And he would say, "I'm the Boogeyman and I'm coming to get you." So he had face paint. Definitely a bit out there. Halloween-ish, I would say. Fun character. But again, the average non-wrestling fan would have no idea who that is. So again, you've already gotten 3. So you're well ahead of what I expected. So great job on that. Okay, the next one, I think, actually thinking about it, you'll probably get a few of the next ones. So I probably undershot you with the assumption of only getting 2 right. So we'll go with this. This Universal Studios annual event just celebrated its 33rd year of events.
Halloween Horror Nights?
That's right. Yes, Halloween Horror Nights. Very good. Okay, where are the 4 Halloween Horror Nights? So every year it's in 4 different locations, as in 4 different parks or 4 different cities or 4 different whatevers. Do you know where they are?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I would. Orlando.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yep.
Hollywood.
That's correct.
There's other Universals.
Yes.
I know Orlando, Hollywood. Yeah. There's one in Japan, right?
Tokyo. That's correct.
Okay, Tokyo. I don't know where the other Universal.
And then I believe the other one is, and I'll probably get fact checked on this one. I believe it's Shanghai.
Oh, I would. Okay, I can see that.
Okay, so again, you got 3 out of 4, which is fantastic. There, 3 out of 4 of that one. So you're doing well above. I'm sure most people will. So this is fantastic. Okay, the last topic here is not so scary, which I expect you to get the first one right. The second one, I'm curious to know if you've even heard of this before. Disney debuted this event in Orlando in 1995 with trick-or-treating, special parades, ride overlays, and more.
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
That's right. Yep, you absolutely got that. Now, the second one still goes under not so scary because it's Disney. But I'm very curious to know if you understand the legality behind what's going on here.
Okay.
Okay. So due to trademark and copyright laws, Disney has recently lost the exclusive rights to 2 characters, which were quickly made by other studios into horror films. Do you know who these are?
Oh, I think I lost you.
Oh, okay. I'll keep talking then. So I believe we lost Megan there. I heard her talk there for a second. I don't think she can hear me, but we can hear Megan. So let me just message her. I can hear you. Okay. So we've lost Megan. So this is what we're going to do here. I'm just going to keep talking about.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Oh, I am back. Okay, great. That only lasted a few seconds. Okay,
I think it's Steamboat Willie.
That's right.
And Winnie the Pooh. That's
absolutely correct. For those of you at home who want to watch the new horror movies featuring Winnie the Pooh and Steamboat Willie, they're all on Peacock. For research purposes, I watched the first Winnie the Pooh Honey and Blood movie last weekend. It wasn't very good. Just to kind of spoil it a little bit, the basic premise is Christopher Robin goes away to college at the beginning of the movie, and Winnie the Pooh and his friends are starving and miss him and don't know where he's gone. So in the first minute and a half of the movie, you find out that Winnie and Piglet have eaten Eeyore. And then it goes from there. And then Christopher Robin comes back and just gets bad and bad and bad. So I watched it. It was fine. I think it's definitely what they refer to as like horror gore or horror porn. And the fact that it's excessively violent just for the sake of being excessively violent. The story was fine at best, I guess. Mm-hmm. They do have a sequel to it already. So the first one came out in early 2023. The sequel went straight to streaming, which is also on Peacock. So if anybody considered the first one, definitely consider trying the second one, I guess. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm sure I will at some point. Additionally, Steamboat Willie has a straight to, I guess, streaming movie on Peacock as well. So if anyone's ever bored out there or wants to check it out, there it is. What I will say is, Megan, first of all, I'm glad your audio came back, so that was fantastic. Secondly, you did way better than I expected you to on this. I will say, which is great. There's a couple of questions here that I didn't even think about that you would know. I guess I was thinking more about my coworkers, how I assume my coworkers probably won't get any of these, if that. But
if they have teenagers, like that's really, we were just talking about that Steamboat Willie movie yesterday. Yeah. My 19-year-old brought it up. Yes. And so if they have teenagers who talk about these things with them, then you might have to buy more prizes. I don't know.
I might. I mean, I've already told my boss I'm going to spend $15. I'll expense it. We'll see what happens. It'll probably just be candy. At the end of the day, they're going to smile, laugh at me, roll their eyes, and just kind of move on, I guess. So
yeah,
it is what it is. I'm guessing my buddy Daniel is a wrestling fan. We'll get the 2 wrestling questions correct. But we'll see beyond that. I mean, who knows, right?
Yes.
Cool. We are getting towards the end of the podcast, but what I did want to bring up was when Megan was on the podcast back in July, there was one thing that I'd mentioned, which I kind of just threw out there and was like, that'd be fantastic if it happens, not thinking it really would. And then 2 weeks later, it was announced. So back in July, we were talking about how Frozen, when it was on Broadway, so Frozen, again, the animated cartoon movie from Disney, not the horror movie that came out before that movie came out. We both saw it on Broadway, and we both thought it was fantastic. And I said, hey, Disney has a streaming service. It would be great if one day they put it up there for everyone to see. 2 weeks later, I think it was at D23, Disney announced that coming in 2025, they're going to put Frozen on Broadway onto Disney+. So I like to say that as something that I kind of wish into existence, like something that I was like, hey, it'd be great if, and then it happened. So what I wanted to do was, before we finish for the day, was ask Megan to, and I'll do the same as well, if there's anything that you'd like to wish into existence that maybe in the next 6 months to a year, it's kind of like, hey, it'd be great if, and maybe we can kind of, reconnect at some point and say, hey, what happened and how many of these things did actually happen? Do you have any thoughts, Megan, or anything that, it doesn't have to be like, hey, we have world peace or, world hunger is over. Like, it could be something fun, something selfish, like whatever it is. There's anything that you could think of that you would say, hey, it would be great if X, Y, and Z would happen, and kind of, check in later.
Absolutely. So okay. I would love for the Magic Express to come back. It used to be a perk. Mine are basically all the perks that they've taken away.
Okay, so real quick. So for those of you that don't know, the Magical Express was a included bus ride from the airport to the hotel. So if you were staying on site at a Disney resort, you got transportation included to get to and from the airport. Versus now they took it away, I think early COVID or right during COVID or whatever, where now you have to either Uber or rent a car or get a taxi. So it's obviously additional expense or a little more of a hassle than we had previously. So I'm with you. That'd be fantastic if they brought that back. So Megan, let's hope that happens.
Fingers crossed. Yes. The 3 for fast passes to be included with a Disney stay, where you would get your 3 fast passes a day.
So to that point, I'm with you. I wish that would happen. With some of the announcements they've made recently, that's one that I would probably bet against happening. Would be amazing, but they're looking to see how they can monetize as many things as they can. I mean, in a perfect world, that's how it would be. I mean, years ago, if those that don't know, you could book 3 fast passes for free per day, but like 6 months or 2 months before you went, which was amazing. Now they've got to a system where you have to prepay for certain, like what they call lightning lanes, to get fast passes. So as much as I'd like to say, Megan, I believe in you and I think this is going to happen, this is one that I think I would probably not put much betting behind.
Yeah. And this last one is actually universal. Okay. And it's for my dad. He fills out the survey every time we go there, and he puts this. Okay. He wants the Beetlejuice rock and roll show to come back so bad in Universal.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it where the Wolfman sings When a Man Loves a Woman?
So
And
the Beetlejuice show that went away when they built the Fast and the Furious ride, right? Because that's over in that section.
yeah.
So I don't know that I ever saw the Beetlejuice show. It sounds amazing. I've seen.
Oh, so good.
So I went through the Beetlejuice Halloween Horror Nights house a few years ago, which was a lot of fun. I was surprised they didn't have a Beetlejuice house this year with the new movie coming out.
Yeah.
But I would imagine if they're going to continue doing things for supporting Beetlejuice, it would make sense to do something there.
Yeah.
Would love for it to happen. That would be fantastic.
It was all the old monsters too. Wolfman's in it, Frankenstein's in it, Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, maybe in Dark Universe. I don't know, but it was so good. It was so good. And my dad's been asking for like 20 years. So
nice. Well, let's hope for the best. Let's put it out there and, hope that, that's what we get at some point, right? I mean, maybe with Epic Universe, they have like a retro section or a throwback. That would be amazing, right? They already have a monsters section going to be there. Yeah. Why not put a Beetlejuice Monsters show, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Anything else you wanted to throw out there, or do you want me to take a couple?
Yeah, no, I think those are my 3 wishes.
Okay, so you've got 3, let's say Disney Universal wishes. It's interesting. I spent the last couple of days thinking about like what I would wish for, and even on Instagram, I put out something a couple of weeks ago that I was kind of wishing for, and someone was like, "That's really random and really weird," but let's just go with it anyway. So these are not Disney Universal related. These are just kind of like life in general. So I'm a huge Michelle Branch fan, musician, singer. She was huge in the early 2000s. She's had a lot of great songs and albums since then, but she really hasn't been as big as when she was back in, like, let's say 2002. 2 years ago, she was touring, and for reasons I wasn't able to go see her. So I'm trying to throw out there in the universe that maybe Michelle Branch tours again in 2025. Would be fantastic.
I do remember you posting that.
Yes. So there was that. Chappell Roan. So another one of my favorites recently. Been all about listening to Chappell Roan. Great musician, really fun song. Good Luck Babe. I've probably had on repeat about 100 times over the last like 2 months. Yeah, I love it. I think my wife and kids are tired of it, but it's a fun song. Like I've done straight commutes to work listening to nothing but that song. There's probably something wrong with me. I don't know, but it's just a catchy song. I don't know.
No way. Do what makes you happy.
So I'm hoping she does tour next year. And then Linkin Park. Like I know they are on a limited tour right now. They just replaced their deceased lead singer of Chester Bennington recently. So they've done a couple of shows in the United States, a couple of shows overseas. I'm hoping they do a huge like US tour next year. I'd love to go see them again because I haven't seen Linkin Park in probably about 15 years at this point. I saw them 3 times years ago. Amazing. I've seen some of the videos on YouTube of their new performances. So good. Would love to see them again. Hopefully it happens.
I think that you have a high chance of that, especially with the new singer and even like Adriana. She has a Linkin Park shirt. Kids her age, like they are still very much relevant. They have good songs. Yeah, I think that one is
nice
in your future.
And I guess the trifecta is if I can get all 3 of them to perform together, that'd be fantastic.
Good luck.
I love an opener Michelle Branch, followed by Chappell Roan, followed by Linkin Park. It's not going to happen, but in my weird universe, maybe that'll show up at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. With that said, anything else that you'd like to talk about or anything you want to promote, support, or plug?
Nope. Just happy to be here. Always love to talk about Disney.
Awesome. So with that said, Megan, thank you again for coming. Obviously, appreciate you joining. I'm sure we'll have another opportunity in the future at some point to come on, whether it be about Epic Universe or life in general. I mean, it doesn't have to be Disney specific. It could be about anything. For those of you listening at home or wherever you are listening, thank you as always. Really, really appreciate you coming back or joining for the first time. Really, really appreciate it. Definitely spread the word. Let everyone know about the podcast. We're definitely picking up some momentum, having a lot of fun here. Have some other really cool guests coming up the next few weeks. As always, check us out on Instagram at Everybody Has a Story Pod. Reminder, DMs are open. So if you have any questions, want to be guests, want to make fun of my hat, whatever it is, send me a DM, let me know about it. My personal Instagram is at Seltzer77. For all things Jeff Seltzer, you can stay up to date with myself at jeffseltzer.com. You can email the show at everybodyhasastorypod@gmail.com. And with that said, thank you all so much for joining and see you all next week. Have a great night.